In a dramatic twist that felt straight out of a high-stakes thriller, Ukraine has embraced a U.S. plan to pause the fighting for 30 days with Russia, even as President Donald Trump ends the freeze on military aid and intelligence support. The decision comes like a sudden calm in a storm, following relentless U.S. pressure, and now the next move rests in Moscow's hands, a challenge that hangs in the air like an unanswered question. After hours of intense, sweat-beaded talks in a bright Saudi meeting room, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that Ukraine had accepted a daring proposal. Today, we put forward a plan, a call to cease hostilities and begin urgent talks for a lasting, real peace, he declared, his words echoing like a rallying cry over the bustling hum of the room. With this step, the onus has shifted squarely onto Moscow, a twist that leaves many wondering, will Russia step up to the plate? The U.S. administration now plans to roll this temporary ceasefire offer over to Moscow. But don't be fooled, the Russians are not sitting idle. They have countered with a list of demands that includes removing President Volodymyr Zelensky, declaring the territories now under occupation as independent, and banning Ukraine from joining NATO. Rubio stressed, "We're putting it all on the table. Ukraine is ready to put down its guns and start real conversations. Now, it's up to them to give a clear yes or no." With that, the tension escalates. Will Moscow accept these terms, or will the deadlock deepen? Just days after a fiery meeting in the executive mansion revealed deep rifts between Trump and Zelensky, this breakthrough has forced the Kremlin to reconsider its stance. In the wake of high-pressure talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, President Trump has also signaled a new beginning by lifting the pause on military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Imagine the scene, a moment of relief mingled with cautious optimism as the president's decision clears the way for renewed support. Rubio explained, because of this positive move, the pause on our security assistance to Ukraine is over, effective immediately. This change means that nearly $4 billion in pre-approved funds will continue flowing to help arm Ukraine, a vital lifeline that adds another twist to this unfolding drama. In a series of curt remarks that cut through the chatter, Trump summed up the moment while inspecting a line of electric vehicles at the presidential residence alongside a famous tech leader. "Very importantly, I said it, Ukraine. Ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago," he noted, his tone brisk and matter-of-fact. He added, "Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully, Russia will agree too." With a wry pause, he continued, "Now we must head over to Russia and hope that President Putin will give his nod so we can finally set the show in motion." His words, plain yet charged with urgency, resonated like a call to end a terrible, ongoing nightmare. Trump didn't mince words when he labeled the conflict a horrible war. "People are dying in cities, explosions tearing through neighborhoods," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow and determination. In a surprising twist of diplomacy, he even suggested that Zelensky is welcome to return to the presidential residence. "Sure, absolutely," he affirmed, echoing a sentiment that came just days after a heated, televised clash with Zelensky that had captured everyone's attention. The tension between personal clashes and the urgent need for peace seemed to merge into one compelling moment. The announcement, made by Rubio along with National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, came after they wrapped up a long day of talks with Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia. A released document from Trump's top diplomats confirmed that the United States would now immediately resume intelligence sharing and security support with Ukraine. The document also revealed that Trump and Zelensky had agreed to conclude as soon as possible a deal related to minerals, a detail that adds another layer to the already intricate puzzle. It stated further, "The United States will tell Russia that any move toward peace depends on mutual steps. Russian reciprocity is key." With this, the message to Moscow is clear, yet laced with uncertainty. Will they play ball, or will the demands block the path to peace? In an intriguing development, envoy Steve Witkoff is planning a trip to Moscow. His upcoming journey is set to confront the list of conditions put forth by Putin, a bold move that might even lead to a face-to-face meeting with the Russian leader. This marks a sharp turnaround from the diplomatic isolation that Putin experienced just weeks ago, raising the stakes even higher. Not long ago, when President Zelensky suggested a brief pause in air and sea strikes, Moscow had flatly rejected the idea. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova warned, "We need firm agreements on a final settlement. Without those, any kind of break is simply unacceptable." The current offer, though temporary, calls for a complete ceasefire, a proposal that sounds promising but is loaded with challenges. According to the breakthrough statement, the deal is expected to boost Ukraine's economy, offset the cost of American help, and secure Ukraine's long-term safety and prosperity. Rubio summed it up neatly, saying, "What we hope to get back on track is peace. That's the most important thing." His words, simple yet powerful, invite us to pause and reflect. Could this be the turning point in a conflict that has scarred communities and hearts? He pressed on with unyielding urgency. "This isn't some school play or a scripted TV show. This is real life. Today, people are losing their lives. They died yesterday and, sadly, may die tomorrow if we don't act now." Rubio's passionate plea for an end to the bloodshed underscores the grim reality of a war that continues to claim innocent lives. The president wants this to stop. "That's why we are here," he added, emphasizing that the Ukrainians are ready to set aside their weapons in favor of dialogue. This new tone of resolve seems to mark a break from the bitter personal drama that had once divided voices in the halls of power. Earlier, Trump had accused Zelensky of resisting peace and even hinted at solidarity with Putin over a probe from his first term, a move that sent shockwaves through the political arena. National Security Advisor Waltz later remarked, "President Trump is the president of peace," a statement that contrasts sharply with previous discord. The announcement followed grueling, high-pressure talks in Saudi Arabia, where U.S. negotiators met with a Ukrainian delegation determined to end the three-year conflict that erupted with Russia's 2022 invasion. At a long, weathered wooden table in the port city of Jeddah, Rubio and Waltz sat down with Andriy Yermak, chief of staff to President Zelensky, and Defense Minister Rustem Umerov. As the discussion began, Yermak firmly declared, "We are ready to do everything to achieve peace." His words carried echoes of that infamous call back in July 2019, a call that had sparked so much controversy and debate. Even as these diplomatic moves unfold, the conflict continues to rage. This week, Russia has kept up a relentless assault on Ukrainian civilian areas, launching 126 drones and a ballistic missile, according to Ukraine's Air Force. In a bold counterstrike on the eve of the talks, Ukraine fired a massive barrage into Russia, targeting Moscow and surrounding regions in what was its largest bombardment yet, a move that left onlookers braced for what comes next. Adding to the complex mosaic of negotiations, the Saudi side was represented by their own dignitaries, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, the foreign minister, and National Security Advisor Mossad bin Mohammed Al Ibn, ensuring that every voice was heard in this critical dialogue. With each new development, the story seems to pause at a crossroads, leaving us to wonder, can this fragile ceasefire hold long enough to light the path to true peace?